Hey everyone, I wanted to make a quick video of a politician that I think really nailed their interview on Meet the Press back on January 23rd, I believe it was. Elissa Slotkin from Michigan was on, and for anyone else, they probably would have looked at it and said, why did they do something different with her hair? Oh, her makeup should have been different. Her clothes weren't polished. But her body language and her talking points, her voice were connected in such a way that I think it bears looking at because she does some very simple things that all of us can do when we are asked to do an interview. And this could also be used for your presentations and for your Zoom meetings and things like that. Because remember, a Zoom is very similar. It's talking to a camera. I am Alison Henderson. My company is Moving Image Consulting, and if this is of interest to you, I encourage you to contact me because this is what I do. I get people ready for their interviews. I get them ready for their videos, for those homepage videos that are going to land out in the internet from today onward. And if you want those to really shine, that's what I love to do. And today we are, as I said, looking at a politician, and it's kind of a follow-up to the two-part analysis that Cindy Ashton and I did of the Vice President Kamala Harris Today Show interview, which was like a masterclass in voice and body language. If you missed it, make sure that you go back and find that two-parter because it's really fantastic. And you add that in with this, and you're really going to have some great tools at your fingertips. All right, let's take a look at Elissa.
Now is a Democrat from the moderate wing of the party. It's Elissa Slotkin of Michigan. Congresswoman Slotkin, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thanks for having me.
Look, you're one of, I think, let me get my numbers right here, 7 House Democrats.
Okay, the first thing we want to look at, and this is something that I bet everybody missed when they watched this interview, is she has hooked her foot in the ring. If you look down here, I'm going to put a mark. She's trying to stabilize herself in this chair, and that is a really smart thing to do. In fact, if you look over, Chuck is actually doing it as well, because these rolly chairs, I don't know why studios insist on using them, but they're very difficult to feel secure in. And one thing that you need to do is you need to ground yourself. We keep talking about grounding yourself so that your voice is better because you can drop into your voice. You tend to remember your points better when you're connected, all these things. So she has grounded herself by hooking her foot. Now, of course, people would probably criticize her choice of footwear. That's not what we're doing. We're looking at how is she making this particular situation the best interview that she can. All right, let's continue.
So it's just 7. So a district that obviously has an independent mind. You won, Trump won. Is this what you're hearing?
I do. I mean, I think that people...
Okay, we're going to pause right there because when she goes to speak, did you hear that noise? It is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, and I do bring it up often with my clients because it is something that some people overuse. I believe this is the only time that I heard Elissa do it, maybe one other time. What this is it's your tongue stuck to the roof of your mouth, and when you release to speak, it creates a little bit of suction, and you get that little noise before you speak. And it's always better to leave your tongue down. Let it stay relaxed in the mouth as you're breathing. And then simply open your mouth to breathe or breathe through your nose. And then you're not going to get that noise before you speak.
In general, are kind of questioning whether government still works for them. And so we should be doing a couple of things really, really well and then talking about it over and over and over again so people know we did it, as opposed to saying we're going to do everything, promising the world, and then not getting all of that done. People leave feeling like, well, look, my government isn't doing anything for me. So I think we're in a crisis when it comes to people believing in government, and the best thing we can do is govern effectively.
All right.
All right, let's break down this body language just a little bit. A couple of really good things here. One, she sticks to her point and she reiterates it very clearly. It's in language we can understand. It is very approachable. And as a politician with her constituents, I'm sure that this is the way she comes across and part of the reason why she was elected. Secondly, if you notice, even though we couldn't really see her hands a whole lot, because in television interviews, generally, it's like I'm sitting here today, your fingertips kind of go in and out of the screen. And unless you keep them all up here, which I don't really recommend because people tend to think you're more hyper and it tends to raise your vocal tones a little bit. But she is keeping her gestures connected to her core. So when she's talking about things and you do see her fingers come up, there's a connection to the core, and it is coming across as very genuine, and it is congruent. Her gesture is supporting the words that are coming out of her mouth, and that is really key.
I just don't come from a school where you're constantly airing dirty laundry. Like there are really big divisions in Washington right now, period. Democrat, Republican, within each party. But I just don't believe that the way that you get back at other people is by putting that on air, airing that publicly. So I don't love that. I also don't think that, you know, if we disagree with someone, that's a normal part of governing. People just want people to be responsible. So I don't love it. But I also, that's not.
All right. Key moment here where she said the word responsible. Did you notice the slight rounding of the shoulders and coming in? And it shows a real emotional connection to this. This is something that she fervently believes, and it engages the audience. The minute you round your shoulders just that little bit, it brings that audience to you. Think of it as wrapping your audience in a hug, literally on that word, responsible. And it's something that you should actually probably work on adding to your vocabulary as a leader, not necessarily just for interviews, but for the world in general. The more we can use this, the better off we're going to be.
Should Congress step in here with more relief?
I mean, honestly, the COVID relief, at least in my state, that we passed back in March is sitting in the bank account of the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan has like literally $4 billion.
Should they be using this for substitute teachers?
Yes. Hello,
Yeah.
Michigan State Senate and state Senate's like, move, get off your duff, get that money out.
I just wanted to end with that little clip where she says, get off your duff, because that endeared her to me forever. What politician goes on national TV and tells their own state to get off their duff? Very authentic, very genuine. So these are the things that you need to be taking away from this. Ground yourself, which is that hooking. If it's that kind of a chair, you need to find a way to feel stable. If that means hooking your foot in the rail, do it. Stick to your point, stay connected, and be strong in your movements. Use your upper body in a way that is going to engage your audience, and above all, be yourself. And if some of your language includes get off your duff, that's a-okay with me.